source saying that the January 6th committee has firsthand information from multiple sources on what the former president was doing as the attack unfolded. A lot to discuss with CNN's senior commentator, John Kasich, the former Republican governor of Ohio. John, good to see you. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks
for
Don.
joining.
Same to you.
So we're starting to learn what was going on inside the White House on January 6th. Trump was watching the attack on television and resisting calls, even from his own family, to do anything to try to stop it, to stop what was going on. Meanwhile, the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, is blaming security lapses at the Capitol. Why is most of the GOP absolving Trump of this?
You know, Don, there's a lot of people in the GOP who I think are having a break with reality. In other words, no matter what the facts are, they just want to dissociate themselves from any of the facts. And when politics becomes a thirst for power, Don, for anybody or all these people, thirst for power, I hate to say this. I've thought about whether I should say it, but that's what unravels a country. You know, when people support violence, when they won't accept the result of an election, and we saw Al Gore accept the result of an election. We saw Richard Nixon, who was in a controversial decision to accept the results of the election, because that was part of the American fabric. So when I look at this, the inability for people to see what the facts are, people who see this and say there was no violence, when I see Republican leaders looking the other way or trying to make excuses, it's a thirst for power on their behalf. And for the public, they're just living in, I mean, it's almost cult-like for some of the people out there in the public. I heard some of the interviews earlier today, people saying, well, Trump would never do this, there was no violence. I mean, that is just being disengaged from reality. And no matter what we tell them, they're just not going to accept it. Because, you know, if you're in a cult and you start to distinguish yourself or disagree with what's in the cult, they try to excommunicate you. I'm not saying this is a cult, but it is cult-like-ish within some members of the who are members of the Republican Party. It's so serious.
Do you think it's, you said a thirst for power, is it even more sinister than that, or I don't know if sinister is the right word, or insidious, because there's a cynicism that goes along with it, that people just kind of thumb their nose at, you know, at democracy and reality and facts, and, you know, and to create their own. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, listen, Don, it's, you know, it's people who get themselves in groups. And whatever the facts are, it could be daylight and you say the sun's come up and they say, oh, no, it hasn't.
Yeah. But they say, no, it hasn't, but
it's almost
screw
like a
you
trance.
for thinking the other way. That's what I meant by there's a cynicism that goes along with it. But go on, yeah.
Well, and look, you know, also the hatred. You know, we can't disagree with anybody today in the country. Now it's about hatred. And when we study history, Don, when we study history of what's happened to other great powers, and we've seen them melt to the ground, America's got so much going for it, right? We're powerful economically, we're powerful militarily, but our soul and our spirit right now, Don, do you think that today in America we share sort of the same values we used to when you were a young man and I was a young man? I think those have been frayed. And when we don't have a common purpose and common values, it's not good. It needs to be renewed because, you know, people are like on both sides fighting and arguing. You got to stop it, folks, because this country, it just is not great because all of a sudden it was great and will always be great. We have to protect it. That's what the founders told us, protect the country.
Well, that was one of my wishes for the new year, is that we had some sort of shared reality and that we would, you know, try to give each other at least a break, or I don't know, to try to figure out how we can come to some sort of shared reality, or at least shared facts, because if we don't have that, then we don't really have anything. John, what's even more disturbing, let me put up this for you to prove the point, to show what we're talking about here. 34% of Americans think violent action against the government is sometimes justified, according to the Washington Post, a Washington Post poll. Just for context, the Post said this was in the 90s. As many as 90% said violence is never justified. Are you worried about what that means a year out from January 6th?
Yeah. You know, you and I have done a lot of shows, and we've talked a lot about the fact that when people won't accept the results of an election, what does that mean? And now it's like, okay, well, violence is okay. I mean, there are some people, think about this, Don, who see violence that happened on January the 6th and they look at the video and go, "It never happened." And other people who say, well, you got that poll, 30%, 30 plus percent saying that violence may be justified. On what basis?
Right.
What's the principle? What is it you're fighting for? Is it just for what you want, for your power, for what's in it for you, and nobody else matters? Mm-hmm. Don, this is a serious drift. I hate to.
You're right.
I don't like to sound alarms. You never hear me say radical things or anything, but I'm telling you that I am worried about our country.
Well, I think more people need to speak up like you. And I don't think it's radical what you're saying. I think that what you're saying is reality, and people don't want to hear it. I'm sure you're going to get criticized for it, but, that comes with the territory now.
That's life.
This is from ABC News. Another poll. 71% of Republicans don't believe that Biden was a legitimately elected president. They're not in line with the overall population, where 65% do believe Biden's victory was legitimate. What does that mean when one of the two parties, right? These are two major parties in this country. Is this out of step, this delusional, really?
Well, I saw a poll the other day that indicated there were a big chunk of Democrats that thought that, that Trump was not legitimately elected. But this has reached a fevered pitch. This is way up there. And again, Don, the thing that's so hard about it is you and I can't lose our temper. We got to be kind to these people who we disagree with, because we don't want to drive them away. They've got to have a reality check. And to say that, and then look, you had Republican leaders. When the leaders early on didn't accept the results of this election, when your leadership fails, then things begin to fall apart. And a number of the leaders in the Republican Party didn't admit that Joe Biden was elected. How about that debate in Minnesota the other day where 5 candidates for governor up there, none of them would say that Biden was legitimately elected. Shame on them. That's a thirst for power, Don.
Yeah.
And when you have a thirst to power as an end unto itself, it's terrible.
Well, you mentioned, listen, the case for 2016 for election fraud is a much better case. Not that I'm not saying that either one, that Trump was not legitimately elected, but there was a much better case in 2016 than there was for 2020. So I want to put it a different way. And that, look, no one sees the Capitol, right, on the Democratic side. Let's put it a different way. A majority of Republicans essentially still believe what the insurrectionists believed or believe. The big lie that the election was stolen. It certainly sounds like no matter what this committee, this January 6th committee uncovers,
doesn't matter.
We're going to be in the same place that we are now forever.
Don, well, I'm not sure it'll be forever. But again, I've got to just say that this represents a break from reality. And when you get into that, and when it's cult-like, and you say, look, I'm in my group, I believe the election was not legitimate, and I've got 50 other friends, and then I'm on social media in my own little cave there. And if I begin to say, well, maybe it was a good election, they throw me out. And so your strength, your purpose, your being comes from being part of that group. And now all of a sudden you're being ostracized. People don't want to do that. But, I've got to believe the truth will prevail. And we just got to stay on this, Don, and we got to have these warning signs and these kinds of conversations, I hope, with you and me, because people watch us and they like us when we talk. I hope it's going to get through. I hope people will see it and they will think twice about their behavior, because their behavior determines the strength and future of our country.
Do you ever listen to conservative radio? As I was, went home to Louisiana and I was just flipping through, and conservative, or even the propaganda that is on the Fox propaganda network, because it is disconnected from reality. And I find myself when I don't watch Fox anymore. I used to watch them. I don't watch them anymore. I can't. It's ridiculous. But as I was listening, I found myself fact-checking the people on the radio saying, well, that's not true. This isn't true. That's not true. How do you get through to Americans that only listen in these silos, that only listen to the Fox propaganda?
That's that old book I wrote, the 10 most important things, in terms of how you live. I talk about these silos, and people need to break out of them. And when they break out of them, it's hard for them, but then they're so happy that they were able to be more objective. They were able to hear other things. But again, they're comfortable being in that silo, and that's danger. That's danger on all sides, not just danger on the right, it's danger across the board, because we're fighting and we're hating one another. And Don, that's not the America that we knew years ago. And what I see happening now is just it's stunning to me.
Yeah, and the facts don't matter. What matters is just
No,
the
they don't. They
propaganda.
don't.
They don't
And,
matter.
and think for 1 second about these elections. You know,
Yeah.
how about Al Gore? He could have driven this thing into the ground. He was a bigger man. Richard Nixon, you know, there was a question about that election. He said, I'm going to put the country first. Our leaders are not putting the country first. Not all of them, but too many of them.
Yeah.
Too many of them are not putting the country first because they want to be in charge and they want to have the power. And for what? I really don't know.